Well, right now we're reading The Iliad, but I would say my favorite book that we read is Julius Caesar.
I decided I wanted to teach math because I taught elementary for a long time, and it was a great chance to move up and teach something that really made a lot of sense, and it had simpler answers than English. Not nearly as complicated.
My favorite unit that we teach is scientific method.
My favorite book we read in our curriculum is actually Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. We're going to be reading it when we come back from holiday break, and it's my favorite because there's such a level of mystery and detective work that you have to do to actually read it, and that's why it's so much fun.
Well, I was studying science and I love science a lot, but I didn't want to teach science because math is my real passion, which I really enjoyed in school. You know, I would say there are a lot of different things I like doing in class. Between physical science and life science, there's been some really awesome examples and lessons. Honestly, I think one that really stands out to me wasn't even in middle school. When I was in high school a couple of years ago, I was teaching an environmental science class, and these kids were not at all invested, and they just didn't really care. It was almost Christmas break, so everyone was super tuned out. They didn't want to be there. So I was like, how am I going to get them to talk about water purification? That's so boring. So I got a huge jug of river water, like dirty, nasty water. We're talking there's like pieces of leaf and dirt in it. And I brought it in and I did this whole thing and I said, cool, let's pretend you're hiking and you're out of water. So you get a jug of water from a river. Can you drink it? And they're like, no, that's so gross. There's bugs in there, there's microbes that will make you super sick. So then I had all my tools that you would take backpacking, and I said, well, perfect. Bad news is I have to drink this water. So you now have a little over an hour to figure out how to treat this water so it doesn't kill me or give me Giardia for Christmas. And everyone was like, don't drink the water. And I just said, I'm gonna drink the water. And so basically they had to create a plan and go through the tools and use their background knowledge and everything we talked about in class already and figure out how they were gonna clean the water. And after an hour, they filtered the water and I drank it.
My favorite event in history to teach probably is about the 1920s. I really like economics, and I think it's super important for us to understand how money works for us. I don't know if there's a particular event that causes that, but that's my definitely favorite subject to learn and teach about.
My favorite book is Night by Ali Wiesel, and it's a true story. It's a very sad story, but the reality of it is really important, and it's so well told, it just really brings you in, so that's why it's my favorite.
So I knew when I went to college that I wanted to do something with math, but I didn't know what. And then my high school math teacher recommended that I go spend time in the middle schools and tutor middle school kids. And that's when I decided I wanted to teach middle school math.
One thing I really love to do, and I learned it this year from a student, is how to make a plasma cutter. So a plasma cutter is basically a setup to where you stack 9-volt batteries and you're able to get and create an electrical current. And you with alligator clips, and then you're able to attach the alligator clips to a piece of graphite, and graphite's very conductive, and so the batteries are sending electrons through the graphite, and then as you take the graphite and you touch it to aluminum foil, it creates plasma.
My favorite event in history is July 20th, 1969, the Apollo 11 lunar landing on the moon. The reason that this event, which you have the pictures here that show the history of it, is my favorite, is because my dad helped to build all the Saturn rockets for the Apollo mission, and the rockets that he built were made with millions of parts, and they didn't know if they would all work until they were actually ready to launch. He helped to build stage 2 of the rockets for NASA, and I'm just so proud of that, and I love that I get to teach it.
My favorite unit to teach is definitely my adapted sports unit, where we get to play games with different types of disabilities.
Acro sports, body awareness, and invasion games are my 2 favorite units.
One thing I thought I'd never love to teach, because I don't love to do it myself, or I didn't used to love to do it, but now I do, is our dance unit that we do in PE as well. So those are some of my favorite things that we teach, but really anything I do, I have a lot of fun with. Thank you.
My favorite type of art is Impressionism, because I like thick, layered paint with lots of brush strokes and lots of vibrant colors that show light.
My favorite artist is Andy Goldsworthy. He is a British artist who goes out into the woods and he just uses whatever he can find to make these really cool sculptures that make you look at nature in a different way.
Well, my mom was my Spanish teacher in high school, and I had a blast, had a really good time being in her class.
Well, you know, I always like to travel, and I soon discovered that when you travel, it's much more interesting traveling when you can speak the language. And I loved French because I love traveling in France. I really enjoy cooking a lot, and France is a great country if you love to cook.
Favorite thing 3D printed? I love the marble maze. I think the marble maze is pretty cool. Yeah. And then we also had the digital sundial. When we line that up correctly, that's a pretty neat thing. I think my all-time favorite ever is 3D printed chocolate anything.